Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here in this new session for our Malt Academies. First of all, I want to confirm that everybody can hear me. I will introduce myself before I start. My name is Silvia Silva. I'm community builder at Malt. I'm based in Spain, and I'm super happy to be here in partnership with Wagon. And today we're gonna be talking about ChatGPT. AI is everywhere, but we wanted to bring you this training to think about to learn about three game-changing ways to use AI at work. And for that, Chan is here. Thank you, Chan. She's a lead teacher at Levagon. She's based in Paris, but she's now in Belgium. Thank you, Chang, for joining this morning. And before we start, I'll ask you, please, if you have any questions, leave them in the field questions we have. If you see there is a chat and questions, please leave the questions in the question section. And if you're also interested in someone's question, please vote, because if we have not so much time at the end, we will first answer the questions that have the most votes. So I will stop here and leave the mic to Camila.
Thank you so much, Silvia. Hello, everyone. My name is Camila. I am part of the Levagon team. I am based in Barcelona. And before starting, I will just do a quick introduction so you can get to know a little bit more about Levagon and about what we do. So, Levagon is a tech bootcamp. We train people in tech and AI so they can start a new career or acquire specific tech skills. Levagon was founded in Paris in 2013, and since then it has expanded globally. So we have currently a presence in more than 27 cities. We have also an international community of more than 30,000 graduates worldwide, and I think that's one of the best things about Levagon, the huge community that we have everywhere. And here in this map, you can see all those red spots are the places where we have campuses. So basically all over the world and especially around Europe. So why do we teach tech skills, or why learning tech skills is so important? Basically because nowadays tech and AI are everywhere. So it's not really just an advantage, it's more like a necessity to learn these skills. And it's what the job market is currently demanding. So that's why we offer 5 different boot camps. So we can equip you with the tech skills that are essentials nowadays. So we have basically 5 boot camps. We have AI software development, which is more like learning to code. Then more in the data area, we have data science and AI, data analytics, and data engineering. And we also have growth marketing. All of them can be either full-time or part-time, and either on campus and online. So for the agenda today, we will have a session of around 1 hour, maybe a little less. As Silvia was saying, feel free to use the chat section to interact or to introduce yourself. But if you have questions, please make it in the question tab. And also something important is that we will share with you these materials so you can keep practicing on your own after the workshop. And yes, now I will leave you with Chang. She will be the lead teacher for today's session. So all yours, Chang.
Thank you, Camila. Hi, everyone. So let me just start to introduce myself. I'm a lead teacher at Le Wagon for the Growth Marketing Bootcamp. I'm also an AI expert. I provide a lot of trainings with AI for Google and so on. And so today we're going to see 3 game-changing ways to use AI at work. Before we start, maybe in the chat, everyone can tell me a bit more about how they have been using AI so far for work. I would be interested to know kind of like the level of everyone so that I can also adapt the workshop that we're going to do today. So let me also share my screen in the meantime. Okay, I see some alumni in the group. Perfect. Can everyone see my screen perfectly? Yeah,
Yes, we're seeing your screen.
great. So for today's session goals is that I'm sure most of you have used ChatGPT for every day and has started to get to know the capabilities of a tool like ChatGPT. But to be honest, there's so many new tools coming out. There's new features every single day that it's really hard to keep up. So being fluent with AI and tech in general can really help you set you apart from the others in the job landscape. So I'm going to show you a few ways that you can use AI to really be more productive. And let's see a few different tools today on how to use AI for automation and so on. So first one is how we can go from conversational AI to AI workflow. So conversational AI is how you use currently any tool like Gemini, ChatGPT, where you ask some question and then you reiterate your request and so on. But you can also create workflows that you can automate and plug in some AI capabilities to help you with some manual tasks that you might have. So as we know, ChatGPT does help on some of your tasks, most likely right now, but sometimes it's still manual. You still have to go back and forth in the tool, etc. So we can use an automation tool like Make. There's many automation tools. You can use in English, it would be N8N or Zapier and so on to automate some tasks. But Make is a good one as a start. You can use it for free, first of all, so you can test out some automation, see if it fits your needs, and then you can upgrade after. And there's also some templates um, that can be used. So let me just show you once you're on Make, you are going to be on this dashboard and you can check out the templates that are available. So even without AI automation, there's many templates for automation, which is very interesting to look at. So I definitely encourage you to do that. But you can look at the AI automations, which is what is interesting to us today. So we're going to try to do a manual task that I don't know about you, but for me, I receive a lot of emails and I don't want to read through them all the time. So I prefer to get one notification at the beginning maybe and at the end of the day where I have a summaries of my unread emails that would be sent on Slack. So we will choose this one, for example. Of course, once you know how to do this, you can apply it to any other templates that exist within Make. So this is just an example of a use case, but you feel free to use with whatever tools you might need in the future. But so first, to do this, you will have to connect your Gmail account. Something to know is that if you have a professional account, this is fairly easy. If you use a personal account, I have a YouTube tutorial that I will send after the demo here that will enable you to tweak some parts to connect to your personal email. But so let's connect with my work email. Okay, and then it's connecting and you will have to choose the folder that you want to have it summarized. So for me, it will be all email. And then you can say whether it's going to be all emails in general, but I only want unread emails. So I'm selecting this one. And you can select the date where it's starting. Just for us to have some example, I will just take a previous date so that you can see more examples. And then you need to connect to the Open AI tool. Here, something that you have to keep in mind is that even though some of you, I'm not sure if some of you have a ChatGPT paid account, but OpenAI capabilities is going to be different. You need to have credits where you can use OpenAI capabilities to do this automation. So you have to create an OpenAI account where you will have to buy some credits to do this. Just to give you an idea of pricing, to do this automation and to summarize maybe 1,000 email, it would cost you around 90 cents. So that gives you an idea of how much it could cost to automate this. But so you will have to copy paste an API key. An API key, in easier terms, it means like a password that can allow you to connect your OpenAI account to this make automation. So we will go to OpenAI, and then you have created an account, you buy some credits, and then you create some API keys. So here you create a new secret key. I will do emails today. And you create the secret key. Something to remember is that once you have this page pop up with the the API key, you need to copy paste, and you cannot find it once you close the window. So you will always have to create a new one. So make sure you copy paste, but even if you create a new secret key, it's okay. You just redo the process. But so I copy paste it, and then I save the connection. And then you need to select a model to do this automation. I would recommend the GPT-5 Mini. If you're unsure of what model to use, you can always ask any AI on your automation, give some details, and see what model to choose. Basically, depending on what you select, it might have more capabilities, and it might cost more if it's better performing model. But it depends on what you want to do here, because summarizing emails is quite easy. The fact that it's a mini, it's going to be performing enough, and it's going to be more cost efficient. But yeah, if you're unsure, just ask ChatGPT what is the best model. I do that all the time because I'm never sure, depending on the automation that I want to do. And then next, you need to connect to your chat app. In my case, I use Slack, but if you use any other app, you can also modify this automation to be adapted. So here I will select that it's sending as a bot, so I differentiate it. And then I need to connect to my Slack account. So I will allow it. And then I'm not sure if you're seeing still the right screen.
No, actually, you stopped sharing the screen.
Okay. Okay, let me share the entire screen so you can also see the notification. But so once you have connected to the Slack channel, you can select whether it's a public channel or a private one, whatever you prefer. Here I have a channel dedicated, and then you can also decide what is the content of your summary. Let's say you wanted to add maybe the attachments and so on. You could have selected this to be added to the summary, but for this exercise, I will just keep it like this. And then your scenario is done, so you can run the scenario now. So it will do all the connection, and then you should see my notifications popping up about my unread emails from the last week. So here you can see the make notifications, and you have a summary here of my unread emails onto Slack directly. And you can definitely decide like how many times you want it to run. If it's going to be running every 15 minutes, maybe not ideal, but you can decide maybe it's going to be twice per day and so on, and create this automation. And there's many other templates that you can test. So I think this is a great way to automate with AI. So see, it's still sending me because it's reading my email, but I will stop it for now. So that's for the first way to use AI. And then you also can do from generative AI to predictive AI. So I don't know about you, but data analysis can be quite a pain. Mostly as a growth marketer, you work with a lot of data, and then sometimes you're unsure like how to do some formulas. You want to make some visualization quicker and so on. This can be usually done with SQL or Python, so it requires you to learn a new language, and I don't know, it's quite technical. So now there is some easier ways to do it. You can definitely plug in some data sheets on ChatGPT, but the capabilities it's much less than the next tool that I'm going to show you, which is Julius. So Julius allows you to do data analytics with AI, and it has better capabilities than a ChatGPT request, because on ChatGPT, first, you don't have, you're not able to put such a big file size. And also, if you want to do like more statistical things and so on, it might have more errors. So I would definitely recommend Julius if you do data analysis specifically. So let me show you how it looks like. But so for Julius, you can have a free account too, where you can connect to one datasheet. Of course, ideally, if you do a lot of data analysis, maybe you have multiple data sheets that you need to collate together and so on. So that would be ideal that you have a paid account, of course. But I will show you already what you can do with a free account and where you can test the tool, which is quite nice. So let's say you have an e-commerce and you have a list of your customers that have purchased in the past year. So you plug in this data sheet and you have the data of your customers, and you are going to organize, I don't know, a VIP event with the best customers so far. So I want to know, like, can you provide me a list of my top customers that have purchased more than 300 euros or more than 3 times. And then it will analyze my request. It will create the Python code themselves, and you will see the result of my request. Of course, here, because it's only one datasheet, I mean, you could have just made some formulas on Excel and it would have been okay. But here, let's say you had multiple sheets and you wanted to collate different data points, that would have been much more time saving and interesting. So here, you're able to download a file of the best customer, but so it's provided here of how many they have spent and how many orders they have done. You can also ask it to do a graph. So can you provide a graph that summarize how many orders there is per region? Again, it will create a Python code, and then you can create some visualization. And this is great because you can really create a report quite easily for your manager and so on to be sent. And right now, I just saw that Julius just recently had a connection with Meta Ads. So you can have all your data for Meta Ads plug in into Julius, and it can send automated reports to your Slack to know like how your ads are performing and so on. So the capabilities of it is very big. You can also have, for example, let's say you have data sets that are quite messy and you want to clean them. You can also ask it to clean the rows that have a blank spot and so on. So there's many usage cases for Julius. But yeah, so here, okay, it didn't have many region, but it can give you visualization based on your data set, and then you can download this and put this into your presentation for your report. So that's for Julius. And then next one would be a personalized research assistant. So I don't know if any of you has ever heard about Notebook LM, but Notebook LM is a tool by Google which allows you to converse with your documents. And how it's different from ChatGPT is that ChatGPT, it will be based on the data that it has to provide you with an answer, and it can hallucinate sometimes, so there might be some issues. But let's say you have your own source, you have different formats, and you just want to know information based on the documents that you have, so you can conversate with it directly. And this is helpful for, I don't know, let's say you have summaries to do, or it can help you study new topics, or I don't know, if you have big contracts and you work in law and so on, maybe it can help you find where in the contract this is stated and so on. So it has a lot of utilities that is quite different. In terms of what it can do, it can also create podcasts, which I will show you. And it's quite interesting because now you can even interact with it. You can create videos and so on. So let's dig in to Notebook LM. But so Notebook LM, I have a few examples here, which is more for a personal usage case. But as I said, it can be applied for, let's say you wanted to keep up with all the AI news. You can always plug in your news sources and see what kind of info they have. But so one examples, maybe I will show you another one. One example is, I don't know, I'm going to Bangkok soon and I want to know more about what to eat and the cheap street food. So I'm trying to add all the sources I have. So here you can add the different sources. So it can be a Google Drive document, it can be a website, a YouTube video, but sometimes for some websites, you are not able to retrieve the content, so you can copy paste the text, and yeah, you can just add your own PDF and so on into the source. In the free account, you can add up to 50 sources. So if you had to have much more, we can put up to 300 on the paid account. But yeah, basically you can add as many sources as you want, and then it will appear here. So let's say I added a video on street food. You would already see here a summary of the content, which can be quite useful already. And you can also, let's say now you want to learn about AI and you want to keep up with the news. You can also say that you want to discover some sources. So you can create a prompt here of what you're looking for. It will find sources, and then you can select what sources you want to add to the sources for your notebook. And so once that's done, I have added another article about street food. And on the bottom here, you can see some suggestion of questions that I can ask based on this document. So I don't know, I will select this one. So what variety of affordable Bangkok street food dishes are described, including ingredients and cost? Well, I don't know if that's the most interesting question, but it will give you an answer. And what you see here is different points where you can find the location of the source. So this is particularly interesting if, let's say, you want to deep dive into the topic, you want to see where it's at within your 50 sources. You will be able to click and it will show you exactly where you can find it. Or as I said, like, let's say you're working with contracts and you had an issue with an agency, you can find exactly where in the contract is this appearing, so that you can read more carefully. But so here you will have the answer to your question. Just keep in mind that Notebook LM, it doesn't learn from your request and so on. So whenever you will close this notebook, it will not save your question. So if you want to save it, you have to save it to the notes. That's something to keep in mind. And then, as I said, there's a lot of cool features with Notebook LM, because on top of asking some questions to within your documents from different types of source. You also have mind maps that you can create. You can create flashcards and quiz. Let's say you wanted to study a topic, this could definitely be helpful. And a cool new feature that is quite interesting is, as I told you, the podcast feature. So let me try to play this one. I'm not sure if you guys will hear it, but I hope you did hear it. But it's going to be two people who is going to conversate just like a podcast based on your topic. So if you wanted to learn about a new topic and you just want to listen to it when you commute, this is possible. And the new thing that is quite interesting is that you can interact. So you click on this interactive button and then you talk directly as if you wanted to ask some questions about, okay, but what is one that is, I don't know, a street food with chicken? And then the podcaster will answer to you as if you're doing your own interview, which is quite cool. And another cool feature is the video overview. So it can also create a summary within a video to explain the topic. So let's have a look. This is making me hungry as we're approaching lunchtime. But yeah, so as you can see, many cool capabilities, and it's free. So I would definitely recommend you to test this out too. And now for the end part. So I hope you guys had some questions in the chat box. I will also share with you also some last resources that can be useful to test out. First one is Cursor. So Cursor is a code editor that can help you. For example, let's say you had a CV right now and you're looking for a job, but you want to make it more professional. Cursor, you can plug in your CV and it can help you create a website out of your CV so that you can have a website to share based on it. ChatGPT Deep Research, this is to do really complex research where it will look at multiple sources. It will take much more time to come up with an answer, whereas ChatGPT, it's much more of a conversation and short answer. But so deep research can be useful if you really want to deep dive into a complex topic. You must have heard recently about ChatGPT AI agents that is available on even higher paid account. You must also you might have seen also Sora, where you can create really realistic videos. And they have their own social media about it. But yeah, there's so many new tools existing as we talk. So I also wanted to share something that can be interesting for you guys, but because there's so many tools, I think it's good to know about this library. So it's called There's an AI for That, and you can just type in whatever you're looking for. They will tell you about all the new release so that you can test out what works best for your needs. I think this can summarize a bit everything that I've shown to you so far. So yeah, please let me know if you have any questions. I hope this was useful.
Hi, yes, we have some questions in the chat. The first one is from Carolina, and she asks if there is a chance that AI misses something from time to time, like when you do these automations, like misses an email or an attachment or something.
Okay, it's the last one. So is there a chance AI misses something from time to time, miss an email and attachment? You mean for the automation that I did in the beginning, right?
Yes, for the automation.
Um, I mean, there can always be bugs, of course. But in terms of the automation, I haven't encountered any bugs yet. But it could be that, for example, you want to run an automation at a certain time and it didn't run. Maybe you didn't have enough credits anymore and stuff like this. So it's more like your automation can be stopped, but it's unlikely that they would miss a message unless it can depend on your settings. Because as I showed earlier, I selected, for example, that it would summarize only my unread emails, but if you are selecting everything, it can provide other answer. So it's possible. I wouldn't say there's no possible bug, because there's always bugs, I would say, with automations and so on, that it has to be tested. But yeah.
Thank you so much. Then I asked my own question because I was wondering while using the Notebook LM
Mhm,
tool, if, for example, I want to the AI to search for news on a related topic
mhm.
and then send me once a week an email with an extract of the news and the links for that. Can I do that with the Note LM, or you recommend I use another automation tool?
So Notebook LM, it doesn't automate. So Notebook LM, you can use it to add some sources on that topic that you want to learn, and then it can
Mhm.
give you a summary. And let's say you're commuting and so on, you can listen to the podcast and so on. If you want to automate kind of like a report
Mhm.
about a topic, that would be different. I haven't done that specifically, but you could probably look into make like how can you summarize this topic, and it would just be linked to OpenAI, but not specifically your sources, and so
Okay.
that it can give you a summary on Slack, like we
Okay.
did for the emails.
Yes.
Um,
I thought something like look for I give you the newspapers links, and
mhm,
then if there is a news related to freelancing, for example,
mhm,
send me the related news about it. But then
mhm.
you say I should do it in another
Yeah,
automation tool, like the first
mhm,
one you show us.
yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll try on my own. Then, if I go for the next most voted questions, I see the one from Melmel, and she says, I keep hearing I shouldn't share sensitive data with LLMs. Maybe that's stricter in Germany. Data like customer lists, contracts, or email inboxes with internal info all seem sensitive to me. How
Mhm.
should such data be handled?
Mhm. That's the most popular question I always get. To be honest, in terms of data protection, there's going to, I mean, you always need to check first the tools that you're using, because here I only show a few, but there's so many other tools and all of them have different policies on how they use the data and so on. So I would recommend to first make sure that you read for each of the tools that you're using what are their policies, and then in terms of the data, it depends what data you provide or not, and whether you can anonymize the data to do your analysis. So for example, the customer analysis that I did just now for the e-commerce, if you have to have the name and so on and you want to use it, that would be, I guess, at your own risk. But um, let's say you just need to summarize like how many orders you want to predict for the next season and so on. This can still be used, and you don't have to have all of this personified data. But yeah, it is a tricky question, because all of the tools have different policies, and then sometimes you can tick that they cannot use it, sometimes you cannot. So I would say that it needs to be checked on a case by case basis, but definitely the most sensitive data should not be used. I sometimes also provide trainings for doctors, and definitely you cannot provide like information related to patients on AI.
Thank you, Cheng. Um, well, the next one will be from Adriana Ferrer. Can I use LLM to create, I guess it's notebook LLM, to create a video with information that you upload or images? It will be helpful or it's just for give you information about something that you ask?
Um, so you want to use an AI to create a video, if I understood correctly. So there's many tools for that too. One could be Lumen 5. So let me write it in the chat. But oops, sorry, it was a 5. But basically, Lumen 5 is, let's say you have even a website page, you can plug it into Lumen and it will create an automated video to mention the topic that is on that web page directly. But you can definitely provide a document and so on. I haven't tested with a document yet, but it can also do that. Of course, as all AI tools, there is capabilities with the free account and the paid account. But I could recommend that one if you have some specific document that you want to create a video out of.
Great. I have another question from Carolina. Is it true that ChatGPT makes up references?
I haven't heard about that though. If it makes up references, I mean, ChatGPT, the issue is that it can hallucinate. So whether it can hallucinate references, that's also possible since it hallucinates overall. Um, so that's the main problem, that you would always need to double check the information if you want to be sure that it's correct. So that would be my my advice. But if you, yeah, that's the thing with ChatGPT, is that it can hallucinate. So ideally, if you have your own sources and that you plug in it something like Notebook LM, and then you can find which source they have used, that would be easier. But I guess you would have to know the sources to begin with.
Great. Ellen Nicholson asks, does continued use of LLMs reduce confidence in making decisions yourself, or is it useful enhancement to validate?
um so this continued is a reduced confusion. Well, what I want to also remind, and that this is something I always say in my other workshops, is that you use any AI as an assistant, or like you consider it as an intern. I'm sorry to all interns, but so you always need to make sure that you double check what it says, so that you use it to gain time and it can assist you in some of your tasks. But you always have to be the one at the end of it, to make sure that it's true, that it is correct, and etc. So I feel like you can use that to help you with making decision, but you should not just rely on it and not think it through. I hope that answered the question.
Um, yeah. If there are, we have another question from Luis. For development, is it better to use ChatGPT 5 or Claude Sonnet 4.5? Which of these do you think work better as an agent? Is Claude focusing more on code development than ChatGPT?
For this question, I'm not a web developer, so I will for sure say that I'm not sure for web development specifically. But in terms of comparing different AI tools, because now you have many tools that does the same, whether it's AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, you have Claude, you use them for all different things. So what I always recommend is that you test a part of what you wanted to do. So if it's for web development, you test what ChatGPT provides and what Cloud will provide, and see what fits best, and then you can decide which one you prefer to use in general to for your own project.
Well, I'm gonna. Tobias asked a question in the chat, but because he hasn't yet asked the question in the question section, I'm gonna say it. What is the best way or the tool in order to build AI agents and connect them together?
For AI agents, I mean, Make has some features with AI agents. It's still in ongoing. So it needs to be tested. I feel like AI agents, it is, we have been hearing more and more about it recently, but it's still in the early stage. So it needs to be tested. But yeah, you have Make to do it. You also can create AI agents for on ChatGPT itself, but the purpose will be quite different. Like if you are doing it on Make, for example, you have much bigger capabilities. It can be something that is repeated and so on. Whereas if you create an AI agent within ChatGPT, it would be for a one-time task where maybe you wanted to book something on your calendar, or like find some best flights and then help you book something, etc. But yeah, I would say use the automated tools that are currently existing. Try to see their new AI agents feature, how it's working, and to test out. It depends on what you want to do, because also the connection between different tools might be different.
Perfect. Thank you. I don't know if there are any more questions. You can leave them on the question section. I'll see Eugenie. It's from practical amateur experience. Claude is much more trustful than ChatGPT.
Okay.
He was answering to the developer.
Mm.
Thank you, Eugenie, for uh, your answer to the team. Well, if there are no more questions, I will thank both Chang and Camila for joining. And everybody here, of course, for joining this session. I will ask you to please give us feedback on this webinar. And before we finish the session, just a reminder that because you're part of the community from Malt's community, you have a discount on all boot camps presented by Camila, just because you're part of Malt. And you can find all those benefits on your profile in the resources tab. So thank you, everyone, for joining. If there are no more questions, think we still have 15 minutes, but time is precious, and we'll leave it like this. Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Sylvia. Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone.
Have a great day.
Bye bye.
Bye.